Welcome back to the Garage Warlock Show. It is December, possibly the 4th of 2022. It is a Sunday afternoon. Just did a live stream this morning, which some of you may have seen. We got a tour of a really cool comic store in Mesa, Arizona called Gotham City Comics. And Meyer Greenblatt appeared, Paulo Costa, Graphic Man, Eric Breen. A lot of the Four Color Fossils appeared. It was amazing. So tune that in. But we're here for, I don't know, it might be episode 636. Could be. Going to be looking at some, I guess I'm going to be looking at some X-Men shit and some Marvel black and white magazines, it looks like. This is a later period Marvel black and white magazine called Bizarre Adventures. Secret Lives of the X-Men. I think they may have reprinted this somewhat recently in color as one of those True Believers dollar comics, I think. But it's just black and white wash painted X-Men adventures. So it's very exciting. So whatever. So how are you guys doing on this wonderful Saturday? All is well, I assume, as we approach Christmas. I'll have a Christmas episode very soon. But anyway, this is Bizarre Adventures number 27. So it looks like I made an attempt to alphabetize these Marvel black and white magazines. Somewhat of an attempt. Okay, here's another. This is issue 28, the next issue of Bizarre Adventures. So here we have the Inhumans. And, This, hold on a second. I'm very curious about something. Looks like we've got some, looks like we've got some Neal Adams art here. What I'm wondering, I'm looking at this. This looks very Logan's Run-like, doesn't it? I mean, I'm wondering if this was a story and art that was done for Marvel's Logan's Run comic, and then that comic was canceled, and I'm not sure, but it looks very Logan's Run-like. And if it isn't, it's clearly because look, they're going swim instead of renew. I don't know. This is like, it's either a blatant ripoff of Logan's Run or it's a parody of Logan's Run. I don't remember. I don't know what's up here. It looks like, I don't know. You guys can put the comments down below. This is definitely Logan's Run inspired. And here's your, Inhumans, some Inhuman stories in here. How about that? Amazing. And then this issue of Crazy. Oh, this is my childhood copy of Crazy. There's, I have another copy of this that I bought later that's in better shape. And I have all my Crazy comics in another box. But somehow this one wound up in this box. Well, anyway, this is Kelly Frias art. I love that wonderful painting there. Hey, he's blowing up the competition. Sick, Mad, National Lampoon, and Cracked. Basically, this is meant to be a Mad imitation. Within about 10 to 12 issues, it pretty much becomes that. But when it first starts, there's a feeling of National Lampoon here. For one thing, they've got a Von Baudet cartoon on the back, so it has, you've got a feeling of underground And then you've got this very much National Lampoon inspired fumetti. You've got your ad parody, a la Mad, but this is done with clearly with Marie Severin art. Yeah. I mean, you can immediately see Marie Severin art. Marie Severin was having a ball drawing. I mean, there is an interview. You can watch her on Comic Book Historians on YouTube, and an interview with her from about 20 years ago. She loved this job. And I always loved her art. You know, she worked on the Hulk for quite a while and did great stuff on Not Brandak. She had a wonderful art style. But anyway, so here you see the contents page, and you can already see it's a little more bizarre than just a Mad imitation. Here's a parody of Kung Fu, the TV show that was really hot at the time. But what's cool about this is you've got Mike Ploog doing the art. So it has a fascinating look to it that you don't get. It just doesn't look like your average Mad or Cracked. And it's, it's fascinating. The first few issues of Crazy are really cool. And then you've got this piece here, this Basil Wolverton illustration. I think that had been printed before. I've seen that somewhere else. But anyway, it's married to text by Harlan Ellison. So, and then you've got this really interesting parody. It's a newspaper, but it's supposed to be after a nuclear war. So people are mutants, and it's really fascinating. And the print's really small, but it's all about it's a newspaper from a future time when people are mutants. It's got advertisements. Look at this rat woman, or whatever she is. It's got movie reviews. It's got the TV listings. No. The dog is about to chew on something that she shouldn't chew on. Sorry. Look at this Dennis the Mutant Menace. He's half anteater. And then it's got a comics page. This is very elaborately done. The artwork's great. But within a couple of years, Crazy would turn into, it would just be awful. And so here they're doing a parody of Dave Berg art from Mad. This is a parody of the National Lampoon here. Then they've got a parody, very realistic parody of the Shut Ups from Cracked Magazine. Then another National Lampoon parody. Then they do this fumetti that, they thought was the new thing from Europe, where they have photos instead of art. And then you've got a story by Gene Shepard, and the art is by Herb Trimpe. Now, Gene Shepard is, of course, the famous writer that a lot of people know as the guy that wrote A Christmas Story, the movie that everyone fetishizes every Christmas, about a kid growing up in I guess around 1940 Christmas, where no one really shoot your eye out with the Red Ryder BB gun. But anyway, Gene Shepard. You got Gene Shepard, Harlan Ellison. Then you've got a parody of the Poseidon Adventure, because this is from about 1973. That was a somewhat current movie. Who did the art here? Ross Andru and Vic Martin. Okay, the dog, I fed the dog just now, but I don't think she has acknowledged that I fed her, so she's going to bug me here. Um, Plus, I did like a 5-hour live stream, and she didn't see me during that time, so she's desperately trying to get my attention. But anyway, this is a parody, of the Poseidon Adventure. And then they've got the evolution and history of moose kind, which was a continuing feature in Crazy, the history of moose, mooses. I'm going to have to do something about my dog, so shit. Come with me, ladies and gentlemen. Perhaps I need to take her out on a walk. Or this episode will be a very short one. I almost tripped and fell down, which is typical. All right. I don't know how cold it is outside. Last night I went outside to film a Christmas parade that went by the house, and it was about 22 degrees, and it was so cold that my camera stopped recording. My iPhone, whatever you call it. Now, Elon Musk, I'm down here, is the live stream from this morning is playing on the TV down here. So anyway, did she eat? Yes, she did eat. She ate all of her lunch. So I'm assuming now she wants to be walked. So let's go walk her. But anyway. 253, an important key issue. This is anyway. 255. The first few issues of Crazy magazine, I would recommend them. If you like humor magazines and that kind of stuff. This is also a key issue, so it's important. So anyway, yes, key issues are very important in your collecting, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to buy any comics that are not key issues, and of course, Crazy #1 is a key issue. Of course, I'm being sarcastic. Yes, I'm going to grow my beard back because I realized why I had the beard when I shaved it, that I was incredibly fat and bloated and near death, and I need to hide that by growing a beard that will make me look thin. But if I stop drinking all of this all of this gosh darn Verschluggener soft drinks, then where is the leash is the problem. I'm looking for the leash, ladies and gentlemen. Where did I put the leash? The leash. The leash. The leash. The leash. So I went to the hardware store. Drew is... Okay. There's the leash. Hidden under these cardboard boxes. Okay. Hold on. Drew, it's leash time. All right. Let's head on out. Here in Philadelphia, Kensington Avenue, which is the street I live on, can be very dangerous. So we must be cautious. You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy than here on Kensington Avenue. Okay. Yes, key issues. Aren't they wonderful? Yeah, when we get back in, after I walk the dog, I'll be showing you some comics I'm going to be soon sending off to CGC. I'm sure they're all 9.8 candidates. And, that's what comic book collecting is all about, is buying 9.8 issues, only key issues, by the way, and sending them off, never reading them because you don't want to damage them. And then once they're slabbed, then you can put them on the wall and show them off on YouTube and to your friends, because books are not meant to be read. Well, the neighbor's getting his hot rod ready. Where are you going, Drew? What are you scared by, Drew? How about that Kanye West? He seems to be in 9.8 condition. CGC evaluated him and said he's about 9.6, 9.8. Let's go this way, Drew. Come on, let's go this way, Drew. Drew, this way. She wants to go that way. How cliched, a dog and a fire hydrant. It's one of those tropes. We like to use words like tropes here on this channel so we can sound intelligent. Let's go this way, Drew. Drew, this way. Drew, this way, come on. Look at this car. It's amazing, huh? It's a Roadrunner. You aren't actually still watching this show, are you? it's not so cold that it's going to make my camera stop working again like last night. Let's go this way, Drew. Maybe we can get some cool footage of the neighbor's car. Well, it's a quiet day on Kensington Avenue. Don't see any of the normal zombies out. It is getting a little bit cold. I think we need to go back in, Drew. Ay, ay, ay. I'm gonna look at some more Marvel magazines from the 1970s. Well, I did 2 paintings for Captain Strangelove. I sent them off the other day. He should get them Monday. Guys, do you know that if you ran a, I don't know if they were sent up to distributor, maybe it was sent to people that run newsstands. Every month they would send a calendar for the month. Harvey Comics sent a calendar every month to newsstand agents, and my wife just got from eBay for me one from I think July of 1968, and it's got hot stuff on it. So, you know, if you look up on eBay Harvey Comics calendars, you can probably find some of them. And she contacted the seller and got made an offer, for a lower price, and got saved a little bit of money. So anyway, I'll be getting that soon, and also I ordered some stuff from Gotham City Comics in Mesa, Arizona, and that should be here Wednesday. So maybe on the 4-Color Fossils show Wednesday night, I can show you the stuff I've gotten all the way from Arizona. Okay, maybe I can film the show now without interruption, but she's following, so I think she's still going to want attention. So got to make sure she doesn't chew on any vintage key issues, especially the 9.8 ones that are CGC candidates. Anyway, isn't Pokemon wonderful? Don't you love Pokemon? How about that Pokemon, man? How about that Magic the Gathering? It's really wonderful. Who is your favorite Doctor Who, ladies and gentlemen? Don't you love Doctor Who? What about Gary Gygax. He's a genius, isn't he? Anyway, Dracula Lives, #1. This was so magical when I saw this on the newsstand in 1972 in Hampton, Virginia. Look at this, Boris Vallejo magic. Look at that. There's nothing like this that exists today. That's Dracula Lives, #1, ladies and gentlemen. Followed by Dracula Lives, #2. Now there's the Marvel Dracula, and then Warren Magazines had their own Dracula, and everybody had a Dracula, because Dracula's public domain. Anyone can do a Dracula. I assume that this is issue 3 because it's the next one in the box. That would be a good assumption. Dracula Lives, #3. Dracula Lives, #4. I need to put this in a better bag. Apparently I paid $3 for this at some distant point in the past. These Marvel black and white magazines are quite wonderful. Here's another copy of whatever number 4. I have another copy. How about that? This, I do believe, is the first copy of Dracula Lives I bought as a kid. Dracula Lives from March 1974. I remember buying this when I lived in San Antonio, Texas. And I remember the store that I bought it in. It was a convenience store. I think it was a Stop and Go. And I remember what it looked like there on the newsstand. And it's just, this cover is gorgeous. I mean, what does this cover have? What doesn't this cover have? So anyway. Oh, maybe I should show you the neighbor's car from the window here. He has like a mint condition CGC 9.8 Roadrunner car. Oh, looks like he's leaving. I hope he's not. Oh man, he's already left. Man, that fucker. That gosh darn guy. I wanted to film him leaving in that cool car. I'm jealous because I wish I had a cool car like that, man. But I don't. So, let's move on. All right. This is another childhood copy. It's July. And the artwork is very good. The Marvel did a great job on these black and white magazines. Then they had text articles too about vampire movies and stuff. Like Taste the Blood of Dracula. Yes, indeed. Yeah. And then this art looks very much like Warren art. Roy Thomas is the editor. Marv Wolfman, associate editor. Sean Romita is the art director. Oh, the sound of a wolf man. Okay, there's that one. And then Dracula Lives #8, and this is terrible, ladies and gentlemen. Look at these color-breaking spine ticks, ladies and gentlemen. That's just awful. But this is not a childhood copy. I did not buy this one in my childhood. So I'm not responsible for these color-breaking spine ticks, ladies and gentlemen. Because the worst thing in life is a color-breaking spine tick. Okay, I believe this is the final issue of Dracula Lives. It is the super annual issue. I could be wrong, though. Maybe this isn't the last issue. What do I? Well, who cares? But you can pretend it's the final issue. It's when Doc Savage, they thought Doc Savage was going to be a big hit. See, it's a giant poster there in Times Square. Anyway, they don't like Dracula. All right. Then there was the Haunt of Horror. Haunt of Horror started as a little digest-sized attempt to bring back the horror pulp. Yeah, they did, I think, 2 issues of it that way, and then they tried to start it over as a regular size black and white magazine. And of course, here this one they're bringing in Satanism. He's a devil hunter. Obviously, she's possessed because it was the cool thing at the time to. Oh, there's Satana, the devil's daughter. She's kind of like Marvel's Vampirella. Because The Exorcist was out in theaters, and so they wanted lots of devil stuff to. They figured that was the cool thing. Oh my gosh, did I just see what I thought I saw? This demon seems to be making out with Satana. That's not a very nice thing. Children's comic. Let's see. The Exorcist tapes. Oh, if you heard about the Twitter tapes, you know, there's see, Satana is kind of like the Marvel Vampirella. She's got these hairy boots, you know. Like basically, it's like an outfit Cher would have worn. Oh, and there's an ad for Crazy. I think that's the 3rd or is it the 5th issue of Crazy where they do a parody of Westworld, which they call Worst World. Isn't that creative? Yes, indeed. And who is this motherfucker? This is about an exorcist with an eye patch. And he's called Gabriel, Devil Hunter. All right, so Haunt of Horror number 2. Yes, indeed. Here's Haunt of Horror number 3. More of the Exorcist tapes. Here's here's Satana again. How about that? Now, if you were really into Satana, then you might have bought one of these black and white magazines that was all Satana, pretty much all Satana, and then you would have lucked out because inside that magazine was the first appearance of, I believe, Rocket Raccoon. So then you would have had a key issue that you could send to CGC and have slabbed. This is a Alfredo Alcala doing this little cutesy illustration showing all the black and white heroes that appear in all the Marvel heroes that appear in their black and white magazines. You got Conan and the Zombie and Dracula. I believe that's Gulliver Jones. It's kind of a John Carter type character. How about that? Yeah. Wonderful. It's Haunt of Horror number 3. I need to be getting some magazine bags and boards so I can get these bagged and boarded. Someday I'll do that. What the hell? Didn't I just see that? Oh yeah, of course I 2, 3. Okay, here's issue 4. There's that Gabriel Devil Hunter. He's the valiant exorcist. Look at him. There he is again, defending this girl. Yeah. How about that? Oh, there's a Neil Adams poster for you'd have to tear the cover off to put it up on your wall. It's Gabriel Devil Hunter. Like he's done a pencil sketch of him. He's holding a Bible up at you. So there's Satana again. And the ones that I didn't get were these black and white kung fu magazines. I like Tales of the Zombie. I just, for some reason, in the 70s, I wasn't that into kung fu. Now, I think those magazines would be cooler, but... Oh, who's that? Yeah, look at this artwork. Looks very much like Wally Wood, but it's Sid Shores and Wayne Howard. But it has a bit of a Wally Wood feel to it. I can tell they're influenced by that. Yes, indeed. And here's Dracula with a whole band of the black and white heroes from the black and white magazines. Oh, and an early cosplay. Oh, how about that? Look at this woman. She's Satana. How about that? And then there's a whole Satana story. And it looks like I have 2 copies of this issue. Look at the Haunt of Horror number 5. Look at that. Oh, and they're introducing their Unknown Worlds of Science Fiction magazine. That was pretty good too. Yes, indeed. It's some people that collect comics don't. Oh, the guy's back with his car. Let's see if you can see it. I wanted to let you guys see how cool this car is, man. Oh, he's already got it in the garage. He must have been taking it out just to give the car some exercise or something. I've only seen that car one time before. You hear that? Muscle car. He always keeps it in the garage. He's only had it out one time before. And then I've got another copy of the same issue. You don't need to see it again. And then this is a great Haunt of Horror number 12. But look at that. It's this is not Satana. This is Lilith, the daughter of Dracula. So now Lilith, depending on the I think there's a book of the Bible that was not put in. See, the Bible is not a book. The Bible is it's like, imagine you've got a shelf like back here of books, and you've got a bunch of books on a shelf, and you take all those books and you compile them into one book. That's what the Bible is. So I guess you know that. But there are some, when they were putting all these books together to be in the Bible, they said, well, this book, we don't think this is really the true Word of God. So, and I may be completely wrong in the way I'm explaining this. Lilith was supposed to have been the first wife of Adam, but she was evil, and I think she was sent off or something. I don't know. And then Eve came along, right? According to some other book of the Bible that was not put into the Bible. So, therefore, in the Munsters, Lily is really named after this evil character. Well, so, people that write these Marvel horror comic magazines knew that who Lilith was, but they just gave this name to, like, Dracula as a daughter. Well, what's the most evil name I could name a little baby girl? How about Lilith? All right. So that's a different character attempting to be like Vampirella. And then this Marvel preview, Masters of Terror, which should be in the other box here. This cover's not as good as a lot of them. Anyway, it has Lilith in it too. And I don't like this kind of writing on the cover. It's not as exciting looking. This is a later period. Oh, wow. That's pretty damn cool. Yeah, there's another... let's see. Who does this? Wow. Gene Colan and Tony does a Steve Gerber script. This is Death by Disco. But look at this. Yeah, she's more of a Vampirella type because this one is a vampire. It's the daughter of Dracula, right? So that is Lilith. Yes, indeed. How about that? Well, that's Marvel Preview. I'll go over here. Oh, there's Monsters Unleashed. There's Monsters Unleashed #1. This has a Robert Bloch story in it. Gray Morrow does the art on the cover. Oh, I have another copy that's not bagged. But anyway, this is the first issue of Monsters Unleashed. Oh, look how they just add only a tint of blue to the cover. Look, in the next issue, you're going to have Monster or Frankenstein, which was already a color comic. But, and they do that throughout the book. They have some pages with blue. That's a sword and sorcery story there. World of Warlocks. The script is by Gardner Fox and Roy Thomas. The art is by Gene Colan. And then he has some old 50s art in here too. All kinds of neat stuff in this Monsters Unleashed comic. And then you have text story like Famous Monsters. So this magazine's designed to be, part Famous Monsters and part comic magazine. I always loved this ad for Tales of the Zombie. This is right when the Marvel was starting their magazine line. The first one they did was Savage Tales, which was very early, probably around 1970. Oh, this is a Solomon Kane, Robert E. Howard story. Script by Roy Thomas, art by Ralph Reese. Then you've got another 50s story in here from the pre-code era called Vampire Tale. That looks like a girl I dated in college. My friend's older brother called her Chaka because she thought she looked like Chaka in Land of the Lost. Anyway, it was a good thing she went away because can't imagine. And all the previous girlfriends, it's a good thing they went off into the sunset because I love my wife. And it's like, but that's shit. All these people are kind of, things happen in your life, and ultimately you wind up where you're at. Okay, Monsters Unleashed. This must be #2, and it's the Man Thing. These are the back issues from at that point. I think Monster Madness, that was very early. These just had jokes, stills from horror movies with joke little funny things. And they did Dracula Lives and Tales of the Zombie and Vampire Tales, which I guess is coming up here in a minute. And these are the first of the black and white Marvel horror comics. But anyway, there's some people that say, I only want to collect color comics. I don't want to start buying these because then that'll just... but I think, to me, these are just as important to me and in my childhood as the color comics, because these entranced me. Now this one is a childhood copy. Monsters, this is one of the first ones I got. Monsters Unleashed, a number, I believe it's 3. It's got a great cover. Now, it's a Boris Vallejo cover. This was read to death. It's even got some tape on the spine. In order for me to buy a monster magazine, my mom did not want me buying monster magazines. This came out when I was in 2nd grade. I would have to bring up in the bookstore, I'd have to take the magazine up to my mom and say, can I buy this? And she would go through it somewhat carefully and look at the book, and she probably didn't discover this barbarian cutting off the guy's head. This is a great story, by the way. This is a Sword of Dragonus, and it's Frank Brunner art. It's copywritten 1970, so this is a story he had done several years before and sold to Marvel. And oh boy, did I love this as a kid. It's just, you know, my mother would have flipped through the book and determined whether she thought it would be okay for me to have. And this one, obviously, she approved. She did not see stuff like that. She didn't like to see one eye missing, you know, she didn't like that kind of thing. But it's just so cool. I mean, it's just like, this is like, you know, you got, look at this vicious battle, you know, this is just dragon biting the guy's arm. I love this as a kid. Another page. Anyway, it's just a great story. And what else is in here? This is obviously a 50s story. You can immediately tell from the artwork. Not that the artwork's bad. I'm not knocking the artwork. It's just a very distinctive style. This is how I first started learning about Boris Karloff. You know, I already had these Gold Key comics, Boris Karloff, Tales of Mystery. I didn't really, but then, you know, start learning about Boris Karloff and all the characters he played, and this, and of course, Famous Monsters of Filmland taught you about that too. And of course, there was a comic book out called Monster of Frankenstein, a color comic. But this is a comic about, but it took place back in, you know, 100 years ago, whatever, 150 years ago. This was Frankenstein 1973, present day 1973 when this came out, about that same Frankenstein monster you read about in the color comic. But here they, you know, the characters have long hair. You know, it looks like Meathead from All in the Family. So obviously it's the present day world. And then it looks like I upgraded my copy at some point because my childhood copy was so beat. And that was bought in Virginia. And then this one was number 4 I got when we first moved to San Antonio when I was in 3rd grade. And I remember buying this one very specifically at Fort Sam Houston at the PX. And looks like Lon Chaney Jr. must have died right about that time. And you got 50s stories. And, oh yeah, and then they have this Ray Harryhausen stuff. Big giant ad for Dracula Lives. Oh, I love this art, Steranko art. Gulliver Jones, First Man on Mars. That was actually used as a cover on a color comic. it just, yeah, they have a Gulliver Jones story. Gulliver Jones was a character. Uh, I think the Gulliver Jones book predates by a couple of years Edgar Rice Burroughs' John Carter, which was written in I think 1912, or published then. Here's an ad for the issue of Crazy with the parody of the Waltons, and they even do a parody of Last Tango in Paris, which was a pretty dirty movie, and they have a parody of Soylent Green also. Anyway, again, more of the serial of Frankenstein in the present day, and then you've got I remember buying this, Monsters Unleashed with, and I still, to me, it looks like he's about to feed her to the crocodile or alligator or whatever. Either that or he's trying to rescue her from it, but it looks like he's trying to feed the crocodile. Anyway, here's the werewolf tale to end all werewolf tales. That's a 50s story. The picture of Frankenstein's monster. It's just this stuff was just fun to me. I love monsters. This is when Golden Voyage of Sinbad came out. I love that. What the heck? This girl's taking her clothes off in front of the man thing. What is she trying to do? Oh, I guess she gets her face burned off. Lovely. Let's see. Here's Monsters Unleashed number 9 with the Wendigo. So, whatever. Then Marvel would also put out a magazine that was all text called Monsters of the Movies, that was more of a actual complete famous monsters imitation. It was pretty well written, though. It was actually written better than Famous Monsters of Filmland because it was more serious. What Famous Monsters of Filmland had that none of the competition could ever duplicate was Forrest J. Ackerman's gigantic collection of movie stills. So, and Famous Monsters had great production design. It just was a beautiful looking magazine. But if you didn't read it, it was great. But if you tried to read it, it was just like kind of brain damaging, because Forrest J. Ackerman was just trying to be funny and trying to write down to little kids. This guy, the fuck is his name? What the fudge is his name? Anyway, these ads, you can watch documentaries on YouTube about the real guys here's a Tigra story. Now, Tigra first appeared in I showed you that about a week ago, the first appearance of Tigra in Giant-Sized Creatures, which was like basically the giant-sized version of Werewolf by Night. And I love that character because I love these tiger women. Look, there's a mermaid. I always love mermaids too. Oh, I remember getting that, man, for Christmas. Low battery? Ridiculous. I guess I'm going to have to plug you guys in. My battery is not as strong as it used to be. But, let's, okay. Monsters Unleashed number 10, number 9. Okay, the electrical cord. All right, so I really had intended to show you X-Men comics today from the 70s. And I may still do that. It depends on how long this show goes. Stay. Anyway, there are people that are snobbish against these magazines. They figure, I'll buy the color comics, but those, I don't know about them. Monsters Unleashed. But how could you resist this? Monsters Unleashed number 11. Oh, there's that Gabriel, the Marvel Exorcist that was in Haunt of Horror also. That's a great cover, Conan on the Tree of Death. So, great stuff. I just love looking at this stuff. Look at that. That's always a good look. These goth girls that do they have bangs and they cut them down into like a widow's peak. That's always a very cool look. But it certainly is kind of an evil look. Here's Monsters Unleashed, where he's taking the light pole down. He looks a little bit like a hippie there with his, looks like a kind of a hippie jacket. Oh, giant-sized Spider-Man and Dracula. How about that? See, this Hammer Frankenstein movie, that guy would later play Darth Vader. But you know that. Okay, this is an older one. This is Monsters Unlimited, and this is actually from the 60s. This is like one of Marvel's first forays into doing a black and white magazine. They also did a Spider-Man that was black and white for a couple of issues. It didn't sell because it was so damned expensive. It was like 35 cents or something. Like the kids couldn't afford it. Some of they're like little jokes, like "Hello, Avon calling." Sometimes they're actually funny jokes. Usually they aren't. It's supposedly they're all written by Stan Lee. A lot of them are references to advertising campaigns of the time, like "Only my hairdresser knows for sure." But this is certainly a very cheap and easy magazine to put out. You just every page is like one still, and you just put a little joke on it. Yeah, I mean, I think you could put together this magazine in a couple of hours. Okay, here's Marvel Comics Super Special with Meteor, which was a movie with Sean Connery. I think it might have been put out by AIP, American International. It was a cheap movie, but I remember I went to the Forum 303 Mall and saw this with my mom. It's got Gene Colan doing the penciling. And here they're promoting their Epic Illustrated, which would be their attempt to kind of do a somewhat tamer heavy metal with, I think, owner-owned art, as I recall. And then this is also a Marvel Super Special magazine, and it's Star Trek the Motion Picture. And so this is adapting the first Star Trek movie that a lot of people were disappointed with. Now this is, some people say the first appearance of Boba Fett is in this issue, and the first appearance of Yoda. It actually would be this, because this came out first. I bought this, right when, the movie was coming, and this is really amazing. Yeah, see, there's there's the little fudging Yoda. But, people say, well, that's a magazine. The first comic book appearance is Star Wars number, blah, blah, blah. Well, whatever. This came out first, so, and it's a comic book. So to me, those issues of Star Wars where Boba Fett and Yoda appear are actually reprints of this, because this came out first. And I know that because I was there. And this is Al Williamson art, and it's spectacular because Al Williamson makes it look like Flash Gordon, which of course is what Star Wars was meant to be. Here's the adaptation of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now, a couple of days ago, they released a trailer for a new Raiders of the Lost Ark movie, and of course, Harrison Ford, I don't know how old he is. If can't remember if he's 80 or if he's into his 80s. I think he's up more than just 80. Obviously, Joe Biden is 80. I don't say President Biden because I don't really think of him as a president. Some people call him a resident. So the artist in this is John Buscema and Klaus Janson. Paul McCartney is also 80. That's pretty surreal to think Paul McCartney is the same age as Joe Biden. I think the more evil you are, the more horrible you look when you're older. I don't know. Anyway, and they have scenes that look like they take place right after World War II, where they've de-aged him using computer. But Raiders of the Lost Ark was a fantastic movie. Fantastic. The second one came out, The Temple of Doom. I thought, well, this horribly screaming woman, I hated her. She was the girlfriend of Spielberg, so that's why she was in it. I didn't like his little sidekick Short Round. But, the movie's okay. And then they did a third one, and I thought the first one was the only really great one. And then they did one a few years ago with a UFO or something with Sleepy LaBeef in it, or Charlie LaBeef or something, and that was terrible. Oh, look at this. It's the Hulk magazine. This is number 4. The cool thing about it is it takes place in the 60s. But it's black and white, cool black and white art, but this is neat. It's what is that, Alex Nino art, or who's this guy? Anyway, it's the Hulk of Alex Nino inking and finishing. Jim Starlin did the penciling. So it's actually takes place earlier in Hulk's career. Pretty neat. See, it takes place when the Avengers were young. Oh, look, they have a Shanna the She-Devil. Look at that. She's in the back. But anyway, it takes place in the past. But when they started the Hulk TV show, they updated this comic and made it set in present day. And they made it color. Here's that Spider-Man comic I was telling you about that didn't sell well in the 60s. Oh shit, of course, they were selling it for 40 cents. And they've got ads that look like they're clearly aimed at adults. 40 cents was, what did Playboy cost back then? Was it like 50 cents? I don't know. I mean, it's really cool. It's got 60s art. It's from the 60s. Got an ad for Kawasaki motorcycles. So they're thinking they're selling this to adults, and it just didn't sell. And it's good, and it was an experiment. It's just an experiment that failed. It's a wonderful magazine. If you're into Spider-Man, pick it up. There were 2 issues. There's Tales of the Zombie. This is a wonderful cover. Boris Vallejo always delivered. Here's Tales of the Zombie number 2. Yeah, pretty cool. Another, they don't really put the issue numbers on the cover very well at times. You have to open it up, and I don't want to open it up right now. I assume that these are in correct order, that at some point in the past I put them into order. I'm going through them because I'm about to put them into a closet. And this is the one I just showed you, so I must have 2 copies of that. This is issue 6. I can tell because they wrote issue 6 on the price up here. I believe I paid half of this red sticker meant half price, so I think I must have paid $7.50 for it. They closed comic book stores down because of the horrible COVID fad. And then when they reopened Duncanville Books, and I went back, they had taken that time that the store was closed to go through and fill the back issue bins with wonderful things and lots of these monster magazines. And so that was quite a wonderful thing to go back in, and they all had very decent prices on them, and so that was a great thing. And I think if you go back in my archives far enough to that time period, you can actually see me showing my hauls as I brought them from Duncanville Books of all these great magazines that I was buying at the time. I kind of would like to go back and watch some of those episodes myself. And then they had there was a Tomb of Dracula comic book, but then they started doing a Tomb of Dracula magazine. This is not a very high-grade copy. I don't like how they put the artwork there, but what they're trying to do is also sell these movies. And the reason they started the Tomb of Dracula comic is there was a Frank Langella Dracula movie coming out. Everyone was excited about it. It didn't do very well. There was also a comedy with George, oh man, why am I drawing a blank? The guy that tanned all the time. Love at First Bite, George Hamilton. Yeah, he also played Hank Williams in a movie when he was younger. But anyway, 2 Dracula movies coming out at the same time. One serious, one a comedy. And so they were trying to sell magazines by tying it to the movies coming out. So that's what this is. It's got articles on the movies. It's got comics. So that's what this is. Here's Unknown Worlds of Science Fiction #1. I have some other ones that are maybe in this box over here. I'm trying to get things somewhat organized. Isn't that a great cover? Wow. This one's not in the best of condition. I think I bought this at Half Price Books at one of my last visits before I moved from the old country to... Planet of the Apes is another Marvel magazine that I have in another complete box over there. Okay, and then we come to Vampire Tales. Why is the dog growling? I do not know. Okay. The first issue of Vampire Tales has a red cover. I know I have it. I think my books are not in the right order, and I've got some scattered in different boxes. I don't know what's going on. This is issue 3, because see here at least they put a big number 3 on it. There's Morbius the way he's supposed to look. I hated Morbius in the 1990s. They had a 1990s ongoing comic series. I thought he looked horrible. And the movie was terrible too, that came out in theaters. Here's the April 1974 issue of Vampire Tales, another great cover. I remember first seeing this on the newsstand. It's just so beautiful. The colors pop. Boris Vallejo. Plus he has such a great name. It says Boris. And, you know, of course you're thinking Boris Karloff. And this guy clutching his throat and bleeding in the snow. Oh, here's Lilith, the daughter of Dracula, again, channeling Vampirella, which at the time was a healthy magazine coming out from Warren. It wasn't just some degenerate, stupid comic coming from Harris. Is that who's doing it now? No, Dynamite, where they have a different stripper, you know, every month, you know, and all these different alternate covers. I don't like alternate covers. Like number 7, who would want an alternate cover to this? This one's fine. You only need one cover. Oh, look, no words, ladies and gentlemen. So this, and they have ads for model kits and stuff. Just great stuff. Yeah, there's Morbius. Yeah, Morbius was like, he's kind of like the main guy in this book. He's up there at the top, the masthead. There's another one. Okay, now let's see what's in this box. Oh, here's some more. Here's Marvel Preview number 3, Blade the Vampire Slayer. You know him from the films, and apparently they're going to be doing a new Blade the Vampire Slayer movie, so I assume he'll be a teenage girl or someone that is a they, them, or he'll at least be wearing a dress, I would assume, because you can't have a male hero in a Marvel movie. Marvel Preview. Marvel Preview. Okay, I'm trying to get these organized. Okay, this is the one that is a high dollar deal, I believe. It's a key issue, ladies and gentlemen, Satana. And, you know, no one was buying these for years, so I have several copies. It's Marvel Preview number 7. Oh, I think that's the reason. I think that's Rocket Raccoon in the story at the end here. This story here in the back is where Rocket Raccoon first appears. That looks like a Balenciaga ad or something. Let's see. She's got these eyebrows that come way up. This is some pretty wonderful artwork in here, I have to say. Okay, so this is a high dollar comic, I think. Shit. Here's another copy of the same one. Marvel Preview number 9. Yeah, it's an adaptation of Gladiator by Philip Wiley, which was influential on the development of Superman, and also as well as John Carter was also influential on that. Okay, so not long after Star Wars came out, I remember seeing this on the newsstand, and I was obsessed with getting back to that newsstand with $1. I don't remember. I knew I had to get back there. I really wanted to get this Star-Lord comic. And this, I don't know if this is the first appearance of Star-Lord, but there was something about it that drew me to it. Oh, shit. What's up, Drew? So I went back to the store and bought it. Isn't that exciting? There's, yeah. Here's Marvel Preview number 15. Also with a Star-Lord. And, oh my gosh. Yeah, see, this looks just like Chris Pratt. I guess Chris Pratt may be one of the only solid people in Hollywood that's, not a devil worshiper. Marvel Super Special Magazine, number 21. It's an adaptation of Conan the Barbarian. Which starred Arnold Schwarzenegger. How about that? So, Marvel Super Special Magazine. So Empire was 16. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Okay, I'll tell you about Raiders. I told you the story before. I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark about a month or two, at least a month before it came out. They had a preview showing at the Six Flags Mall Theater, and I went with my mom. It was, and then when it was over, you filled out a card, and, what did you think of the movie? I told my mother, on the way home, that the movie was fantastic, but I don't think it will do well because I don't think people will understand this movie. I don't think they'll like it, just because I thought people were stupid. And it turned out people did like it, so people were smarter than I thought. Here's another copy of Bizarre Adventures, Cull the Barbarian. So I need to... Yeah, see, these books are not in the right order. Okay, here's another one of those Hulk books. But by this point... Oh, it's a wraparound cover. Or is it? Yeah, it kind of is. Now they're printing it with a color process because they figure it's going to sell, because at this point Bill Bixby and the Lou Ferrigno Hulk show is on television, and they know that they're going to sell a lot of copies, so they go ahead and print it in color. Yeah, exclusive TV's Bill Bixby Talks. So this is number 10. I preferred it when it was the black and white comic, and it was set in the 60s, but oh well, what can you do? Time marches on. Time waits for no man. The Hulk number 11. Again, another wraparound cover. Printed in color, like they had done with the Kiss magazine. And this cover is pretty damn good, you have to admit. Look at that. It's Earl Norham that had done a lot of those men's adventure magazines, and this looks just right off of one of those men's adventure magazines. 13. Oh, and it's got a difference. What is this? Oh, like Herman Munster. It's got a Moon Knight story in it. which meant something until, you know, everybody was like, Moon Knight. Everyone was so excited. They were making Moon Knight TV series. Then the series comes out. It's terrible. I don't hear the enthusiasm about Moon Knight anymore. I think they killed it pretty successfully. Here's Marvel Super Special number 3, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Yeah, that's what it looked like. It's another color magazine. So these movie adaptations tended to be color, because they knew they were going to sell a lot of them. Marvel Super Special. Meteor was number 14. This is number 3. This one's number, I don't even see a number. Jaws 2. A cash grab. Not a good movie. Completely unnecessary sequel that did nothing but tarnish the original. This is Warriors of the Shadow Realm that started as a color comic. It's just Marvel trying to do Lord of the Rings without having the rights to it, and it's also a little bit like ElfQuest, but I think this predated ElfQuest. Am I wrong? I could be wrong, but it's the same kind of thing. These heroes that are kind of Hobbit-like. They're little bitty, and it's got beautiful artwork from basically beautiful artwork. Hey, Drew, the dog. Yeah, it was called Weird World but was the name of the place they lived in, as I recall. So it's and they did. Then there was part 3. But yeah, it's very much Lord of the Rings inspired, and they have maps of the place and everything. You know, if you're, it's no, Drew, no, what the fucking heck, Drew, you can't do that. What's up, Drew? Drew the dog is here, ladies and gentlemen. What are you thinking, Drew, man? What are you doing? Okay. Whew. Okay. Here is the issue 27 of the Marvel Super Special, Return of the Jedi. How exciting. It's also Al Williamson art, so it looks great. If you're into Star Wars, all you need are the Marvel adaptations that were done with Al Williamson's art. You don't need to buy any Star Wars comics made later. This was kind of neat. Buckaroo Banzai came out the summer of '84. And it was basically Doc Savage, but updated to the '80s. This guy, Peter Weller, who's about 3 feet tall, played Doc Savage, but they made him look taller. It's, he's called Buckaroo Banzai. That's cool is the Buckaroo Banzai novel. If you bought the novelization, references previous adventures, just like it's a Doc Savage book, and you're in the middle of the series. It never was a series. It's, I guess, a cult thing. I loved it at the time, but it was a great thing. I thought it was fun. Epic Illustrated was Marvel's attempt to do a heavy metal kind of book. except I don't think that has as much explicit boobs and that kind of stuff. It might have a little bit. It's more, yeah, you know. Then they put the Silver Surfer in there because he appealed to heads, you know, to Epic Illustrator. And then this is not my childhood copy. This is Kiss. It's all taped together. This is I don't know who owned this copy originally, but they had 2 issues of Kiss. This one is coverless. I got them at some point. At the time these were put out, I was not a Kiss fan. I became a Kiss fan later. I thought, you know, when Kiss was popular, I thought those people that like Kiss were idiots. But then I later realized I was wrong on that count. But, you know, what can you do? Shit. And I didn't like the whole thing. They did this stunt where they made a big deal out of the Kiss had blood drawn. All 4 members of the band had blood drawn, and they went to the comic book printing facility in New Jersey or somewhere, and they were photographed pouring their red blood vial of their blood into the red vat of ink. So supposedly you would possibly have some Kiss blood printed in your comic book, and the red ink would be actual Kiss blood. And so some people thought that was a neat thing, I guess. Oh, here's another copy of Unknown Worlds of Science Fiction. That's a cool cover. So, where did the other one go? Okay, that's issue 2. Then it looks like the rest of this box is, what? The rest of this box is like, well, here's an issue of Teen Screen with, yeah, everything's so messed up, unorganized. Here's an issue of 16 magazine. These need to go elsewhere. Anyway. Well, that's confusing. Let's go in the other room, shall we? Oof. Oof.